Big crowds have gathered meantime for the Anzac Day March in Brisbane despite the wet weather in southeast Queensland. Harry Clark joins us from George Street in the CBD. Harry, what's the mood like despite the weather?
G'day, Kieran. Well, yeah, the weather has meant that the crowds are a little bit smaller in numbers than they were last year. It's a bit of a shame, but that's to be expected when there's a bit of wet weather coming through Brisbane on Anzac Day. But the Anzac spirit is clearly live and well here in the Brisbane CBD, where the march is currently proceeding through the streets of the city. It's always amazing to hear the stories and the take on Anzac Day when you talk to the people involved in the march, whether they're current or former servicemen and women. We spoke to today. Heard some really interesting stories. A gentleman who was involved in the testing of atomic bombs in Australia, in both off the coast of Western Australia and in South Australia during the 1950s. We also spoke to a gentleman who was involved in training military men and women in Vietnam during the war there. And he was involved in training the military in Vietnam. And then we also happened to speak to the Consul General of Papua New Guinea. His father was a fuzzy wuzzy angel, and he spoke to us about how that theatre of war, that relationship between Australian diggers and the fuzzy wuzzy angels, forged the relationship between Australia and PNG, and how it stands the test of time and is relevant today. What was that experience like for you?
Hell, we had no idea. We were not informed. We had no idea the danger we were in, none whatsoever.
I think what I gather most is to watch the people, the crowds that come along, and the crowds are getting bigger every year. And I'd have to say, what is very noticeable in the crowds are the Southeast Asian people.
Our people stood together with Australian and the Allies to fight off the invasion at the time. And without their sacrifice, both sides, we would not share the peace and the security we enjoy today. And that is the basis of Papua New Guinea and Australian relationships.
And of course, as well as servicemen and women, both active and past, there's a lot of people marching in these parades who are wearing the medals worn by relatives, loved ones who have passed on, either killed in action during war or have passed away since. And it was interesting to hear what they had to say when asked what it meant to them to be wearing the medals that were the medals of their loved ones.
It's a part of my family, history. That's what it's all about.
It's kind of like an all-over body experience, like just sitting here, arriving early, taking in the atmosphere. It makes you really reflect, and I'm very grateful for being here today.
So, of course, once the march is finished here in the Brisbane CBD, Kieran will be heading off to report on some tour happening at RSL clubs around Brisbane. We're just tossing up where to go, whether we go to the Story Bridge or perhaps the Regatta or even the Cooper RSL over on the east side.
You got a few options, haven't you? It's a wonderful tradition and part of this very important day in our nation's calendar. Harry, thank you.